Hi there, I'm Coach Craig Kenneth,
And I'm Coach Victoria.
and in this video we're going to be talking to you about how to spot emotional manipulation in a relationship.
We're going to get your spidey senses in check.
Yep, because it can be really challenging to figure out when a partner is being manipulative, especially if you grew up in a home where it happened a lot.
Oh, yeah. Or if you haven't experienced it at all.
True.
You might not have any idea of what it looks like. You might be a little bit naive to what it might be. And vice versa, like you had said, you might also be hypersensitive to it if you've experienced it firsthand yourself, either in your family or in past relationships.
As you can see, we do have a new backdrop, and I'm sure you're getting used to it. Some of you may have not seen it before, so we wanted to call it out. Let us know what you think about it. We're pretty excited about it. We think it looks really good.
Mm-hmm. Let us know.
Yeah, share a comment. We're just getting used to the setup and the lighting and everything else, so it might take us time to adjust.
Exactly.
So what do we have to say about this?
So let's start with talking about what manipulation is, because some people have a misconception about what it actually is.
Okay.
So manipulation is someone's way of getting what they want or getting you to do something that they want through deceptive means. And that's really the key there, is there's some sort of deception, there's some sort of tricking that happens in manipulation that makes it really unethical and that makes it harmful.
Yeah.
So they can be very sly in the way that they do this. They can also try to toy with your emotions to influence you to do something, to see them a certain way, or to see a certain situation in a certain light. We're going to give some more concrete examples as we go through this video.
Yeah, because it can be confusing. What does it look like? What does it actually look like? Guilt tripping. That's a big one that you might see.
And this can come in so many different forms.
Yeah. Trying to make somebody feel bad about doing something. Let's say you want to go to a baseball game with your friends or some family members, something like that. And your partner says, "Oh, I thought we were going to go out this weekend. I thought we were going to spend some time together. Oh, you just went to the game last month. You're going to go again?"
I've been feeling so lonely.
Yeah. So that's, guilt tripping. It's not a healthy way of dealing with it. You know what I mean?
And it's all within the context, too. So this is a situation where maybe the person hasn't been out with their friends in a while. Yes, there is a way to bring up your concerns and say those things. I feel lonely. We haven't spent one-on-one time together. But it's all about the deception behind it. It's all about trying to make you feel bad.
Yeah.
In order to change your behaviors or get you to do something.
Yeah. And the person who's doing the guilt tripping might exaggerate their feelings in different ways, or exaggerating how much it's bothering them to make you feel that guilt about it. They're going to make it seem like things are worse than what they really are. Talking about how lonely they are and how difficult it's going to be for them to spend 3 hours by themselves. Like my mom used to do that. Now, I didn't see this because this was like when I was an infant. My dad would want to go out and play basketball. My dad was a pretty active guy. He liked to play softball and basketball. He was a PE teacher. My mom would guilt trip him. She'd lock herself in the bathroom crying. Why are you going? Why are you leaving us? Why are you leaving me? And so he felt smothered and trapped by that. And that's part of the reason he wound up leaving. It was that guilt tripping that he felt like he couldn't even go out and play some basketball or some softball with friends.
Right. And manipulation, it's not always this evil out to get you kind of thing.
Yes, it is. I'm just kidding.
Sometimes we manipulate without even knowing it. And if you're going through a breakup, you might have tried to manipulate your ex back into a relationship without knowing it and without having these kind of evil intentions. But there is that bit of deception to it. There is that bit of, I'm plumping this up to be something that it's not, to get you to do something.
That's true.
Something behind it.
Yeah, I suspect there's a lot of guilt tripping with guys playing video games,
I could see
playing online, because it's easy for a guy to just sit down, connect, play with his buddies online.
Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah.
An example could also be if somebody is caught cheating. Let's say they've done something wrong, they've made a mistake in the relationship, they switch the focus onto how sad they are and how much their own hurtful behaviors has affected them. So they might say something like, "Oh my gosh, I'm so broken. I just can never make relationships work. People always just want to leave me. Nobody accepts me for who I am." And so this is completely turning the lens of what the issue is
Mm-hmm.
into a different direction so that your partner
Yeah.
has sympathy for you and then just kind of forgets the negative behavior.
My 6-year-old daughter does this. She does. She quickly will try to manipulate with, no one wants to be my friend. Meanwhile, everyone wants to be her friend. And so if one person ignores her for 5 seconds, nobody wants to play with me. Despite getting constant attention from everybody in the family. Nobody wants to play with me after 5 seconds of having to play by herself.
And just while we're talking about children, Margaret had a very hot take on manipulation because many parents will say, oh, my kids are being so manipulative. She would say that when kids are manipulative, they're just trying to get their unmet needs met.
Yeah.
Now, it's different when you're a kid and you're still learning how to do this. You're still learning how to talk directly and ask, hey, I would like to spend 5 more minutes playing this game or whatever it might be, versus, being an adult and having developed those skills to communicate ideally. So that's the difference. With a kid, we can forgive it because they're learning. With an adult, it gets different and it can become harmful to your partner.
Yep.
Yeah. Other examples could be if somebody has some kind of issue and they turn it on themselves, like alcoholism, substance abuse. That could also be one that's turned inwards. That's a little bit complicated because we do know that substance abuse issues can come from depression. So those can be kind of hard to spot. It can also escalate to a partner even threatening to kill themselves.
Yes.
So this is something that we see.
You might see this especially with somebody who's got a personality disorder, right?
Yep. And so in these situations, it's important to give that person resources that they can use to get themselves help. But we encourage you to be able to maintain your boundaries and to not get overly involved and fall for this tactic. We want to give the person help. We want to make sure that they're okay. And if you are in this situation, please go find local help. Talk to somebody. There are hotlines out there. Now in Florida, it's 988. So be able to get the help that you need. But if you see this in a partner, be able to maintain those boundaries too.
Yeah. It's very challenging, right? Because if you get afraid that somebody's going to hurt themselves.
Right. Another big one could be love bombing. And this one falls under the category of guilt tripping because it's someone showering you with affection, usually at the start of a relationship, but it could also be after they've done a mistake, right? And so they will maybe do a lot of acts of service for you, maybe give you a lot of gifts, and maybe talk you up and charm you in those ways. And so when it's time that they want you to do something, they will say, well, I've done all of these things for you, so now you owe me.
Yeah.
That's the idea behind it.
And it's tough because it's like, wait, so by allowing you to give these gifts to me, now I cannot do what I want to do for the rest of my life,
Right.
for the rest of this relationship? It's not a good feeling. So be careful if you're doing this to people.
Right.
Another way people manipulate is the silent treatment.
Talk to me. What's wrong?
No,
What is it?
I tried talking to you when I gave you all those gifts. And you went out with your friends. You had dinner with your mom the other day and left me alone.
That's why you're not going to talk to me?
Yeah, and I was so hungry.
No. We have ramen noodles in the
No,
pantry.
I don't know how to make those. I'm still hungry.
And so this can happen, and it can be a form of stonewalling. So when somebody completely shuts down and they just do not communicate with you, they withdraw affection, they withdraw attention, communication. This can also be a way that somebody tries to punish you.
Oh, yes. Yes. You're seething inside, it's building up, and you're like, I'm gonna get them. I'm gonna get them back. They want to hurt me, I'm gonna hurt them right back. Tell me you don't do it. Tell me you don't have those imaginary conversations with yourself.
So this is
People do.
It is, yeah, it's true. And this is manipulative because you're not directly telling your partner what's going on. You're being sly about it. And so this is something that can be hurtful, hurt a connection, and ultimately it leads to a lot of breakups.
Yeah. This stuff builds up inside, and then people just can't take it anymore.
Exactly.
Another big one is gaslighting. Gaslighting, boy, that is a tough one. When somebody is making you feel like reality is not actually the way that it is, it can be infuriating, right? It can
yeah.
really upset you when somebody tries to twist things, or they're able to do it in such a way that they're the victim, and you've been neglecting them or hurting them or doing this thing to them when you didn't do that at all. But they make you feel like something was very different than the way it actually was. And they do that to get you to do what they want. And they kind of make you feel crazy, like in the movie.
Yeah.
I think, what was it called? Was it called Gaslighting?
I don't remember.
Margaret talked about it, where people, will do things deliberately to make you question reality. And sometimes it can be extreme. You may have smaller cases with gaslighting, but then you also can get into bigger situations with people that have personality disorders, and they will do some serious things that will really have you questioning up and down and left and right, and not good.
Right. And gaslighting can be deliberately distorting reality. They might say things like, I've never said that. You're crazy. So there's that element of you are wrong. There's something that you're saying. There's something wrong with you in the way that you're perceiving things. And so it makes you question your own judgment. And a trademark of gaslighting is that there's no negotiation. There's a difference between, I'm not sure if that happened. I remember it this way, versus it was not this way. You are wrong. In fact, you're crazy.
Yep.
So there's degrees to things and levels to things here.
Yeah, of course.
Another big one that we see is threatening to end the relationship. And sometimes you see this in these kind of on again, off again type of relationships that happen. But you will go to an extreme to threaten someone that the relationship is going to be over if they don't comply with whatever you are asking, or if you don't change whatever you're asking.
Yep.
So it can be a means to try to gain control over you.
Yes.
And it's very different from a person repeatedly bringing up a complaint or a concern. Hey, this thing is bothering me. Hey, this thing is, really bothering me now. Versus, I'm going to end it with you if you don't X, Y, or Z. And could look like other types of ultimatums like that.
Yep.
Other telltale markers of manipulation. Number one, that it is not honest and direct. They aren't being clear with what they're asking. Number two is that they can't handle a no.
That's big. A lot of partners do not like to be told no. And when they hear a no, they become angry and manipulative. And that's not healthy.
Right. And they're not...
Were you that way?
Right. That's very
you
possible.
better think about it. Because probably you were, at least at some point.
And not being able to respect boundaries. You might be able to say, well, it's really important for me to go out with my friends tonight. But... and so it's kind of like tugging at you once you've already set, hey, this is, what I am going to do and wanting to do, and really setting that boundary there. You may also feel like you're betraying yourself when you comply. And so this is one of those sneaky things, and you have to be really self-aware here. It's not just about spotting the manipulative behavior and spotting the manipulator, but also spotting how you feel and what aligns with you versus what does not align with you. You're sitting somewhere and you're like, man, I really didn't want to do this. I feel tricked into being here right now.
Yes.
So
yeah.
that could be something that happens internally with you.
You're angry that you maybe stayed at home and didn't go out with your friends. You're like, oh. And so your partner got what they want, but they really have you at home seething and angry that they're there with you. And so you're really making the relationship worse, right?
Yeah.
Because you may have gotten what you wanted in that moment. Oh, yeah, you got them to stay home. They didn't go out with their buddies. But now they're angry at you. They're resentful. And they're sitting there thinking, why did I stay at home? And then you wind up fighting or ignoring each other. So why did I stay home for this?
Right. You don't feel like you fully agreed to something. So that can be something internally that happens in you to be aware of. So...
These are some of the things that you want to consider and look for. Obviously, we want you to all be in healthy relationships, and we want you to be healthy with yourself. So you have to really take a look at yourself and see if you've done these things. And if you have, you got to work on it and make changes, because otherwise people aren't going to want to be around you. That's the truth. People don't want to be around other people that are doing these things.
Right. And just an easy way to kind of be able to communicate some of your needs better is to think about manipulation. When you think about guilt tripping or really wanting somebody to do something, just think about, what is my need here and how can I ask it in an honest and direct way? What am I trying to get out of what's happening right now? You know, so many of you will try passive aggressive routes. Some of you will try more aggressive routes. Think, what is it that I'm needing and how can I ask for it? And can I take a no?
Yeah, exactly. Much healthier to the connection if you can make those changes. Okay, so hopefully this one's been helpful to you. Of course, if you want to get our help personally, you could do that on my website, askcraig.net. I do email coaching and I do Skype. Coach Victoria is also available for Skype coaching.
I'm here whenever you'd like to chat.
Just click on her name on the top of the website to schedule with her. But that's it for this video. I'm Coach Craig Kenneth.
And I'm Coach Victoria.
And we will talk with you soon.